I think everyone is already on mute, so I won't do that. I know a lot of people will be signing in as I get started. I hope nobody's too sore from shoveling. Yoga always helps me a lot the day after, or the days after. I did do a short reading last week, and I wanted to add something today. We have 4 tools available for us in Yoga for Healthy Aging. I'm sure a lot of you have heard me talk about this. The 4 tools are the physical aspects of yoga or asana, meditation, breathing, and philosophy. And I'm going to talk a little bit about one of each of those tools in the coming weeks. And today, the one I wanted to focus on is the physical, which is the one that most of us are here for, at least initially. And this reading actually doesn't have anything to do specifically with yoga. It's just about physical movement and about exercise, and it really caught my eye. And I will try to not go into too much length because it is a long article. It's from NPR, actually, and it's about sitting. And it's written by a professor of human evolutionary biology at Harvard. And it's about this notion of getting exercise. What does that actually mean? And he's studied a lot of indigenous cultures to try to figure out what exercise is and what's important about it. And he comes up with this really interesting conclusion, and let me try to find that, that sitting, which we all do a lot of, has been demonized recently. In other words, you've maybe heard the expression, sitting is the new smoking. Well, guess what? Sitting maybe isn't so bad. So this is what I wanted to read to you. I found this just really interesting. When I walk, and this is him from his voice, of course, when I walk into a village in a remote part of the world where people don't have chairs, they're always sitting. Some friends and colleagues of mine actually put on accelerometers on these hunter-gatherers and found that, guess what? They sit as much as we do, about 10 hours a day. So it turns out that we've kind of demonized sitting a little falsely. It's not unnatural or strange or weird to sit a lot, but it is problematic, of course, if that's all you do. So he was really fascinated because of the data that associates sitting a lot with poor health outcomes turn out to be leisure time sitting. So that's, time sitting at your couch, knitting or watching television. It's not really associated. So if you look at how much time people spend sitting at work, it's not really associated with illnesses. But if you look at leisure time, that's where the numbers get a little bit scary. So he says, what this is all about, just getting up every once in a while, every 10 minutes or so, just to go to the bathroom or pet your dog or make yourself a cup of tea, even though you're not spending a lot of energy, you don't have to do those 7-minute exercises. You're turning on your muscles. And your muscles, of course, are the largest organ in your body. And just by turning them on, it turns down inflammation. It uses up fats in your bloodstream and sugars in your bloodstream, and it produces molecules that turn down inflammation, that thing that we're all hearing so much about. So the evidence is that interrupted sitting is really the best way to sit. In those hunter-gatherer camps, people are getting up every few minutes to take care of the fire or take care of a kid or something like that. And that kind of interrupted sitting, as well as not sitting in a chair that's kind of nestling your body and preventing you from using your muscles, all that kind of keeps your muscles going and turns out to be a much healthier way to sit. So sorry, that was a bit long. I just thought that was really fascinating. Sitting is not as evil as it's been made out to be. Just get up and move around every 10 minutes or so. I even have a Fitbit now with a little alarm that reminds me, get up. So not specifically about yoga, but I hope that was of interest. We are going to, guess what, sit for a few minutes. So please come to the floor or to your chair and sit. For these few opening moments together, I do recommend sitting back in your chair, just so you can relax and prepare yourself for the roughly hour to come. Putting aside thoughts, plans, concerns, turning your attention inward, allowing your mind to rest here and now in the present moment on your breath. Please draw your hands together at your heart center. Gently press your palms towards one another and find your lift by sliding thumbs up the midline. And let's chant our 3 ohms together, breathing in. Inhale, exhale, replace hands to lap, float your eyelids open, and now do what it talks about in that little article. Come forward towards the front of the chair so you're not in that comfy nestling kind of position, but we're engaging muscles. And it's important to engage those muscles frequently. I'm just going to take a look and see if there's anything I need to know in the chat. Yes, somebody has an Apple Watch with that reminder. Yes, and 2 people are asking about the 4 tools of yoga, asked me to repeat that. So the 4 primary tools that we have available to us in Yoga for Healthy Aging are the physical tools, the poses that we do here in class, the breath, which I'll definitely be talking more about in coming weeks, meditation, and yogic philosophy. So that's a little repeat for those who didn't hear it. Forward in the front of your chair or sitting on the floor. And let's bring our hands together to the heart center. And simply lift the arms up overhead, nice and long. Stretch, get really long through all 10 fingertips. You can even allow your shoulders to lift a little bit here and just release one arm down. Lift it back up and release the other down. We're linking with the breath, inhaling here. Exhaling now, turn the head. Inhaling. Exhaling. And please do this a few more times, turning the head and alternating the arm that's lifting. And what's most important, of course, is linking with the breath. The next time you lift your left arm and release your right, turn your head, pause. Maybe the body's beginning to gradually warm a bit. Perhaps your chin can turn a little bit more towards the shoulder. And release the top fingertips down to your shoulder. Take a few nice, easy elbow circles, one direction and the other. And the next time that elbow lifts up, allow it to stay elevated and just come into a little side tilt. You're looking down towards the floor, your elbow is lifted. You can either hold your chair or rest your hand in your lap on the other side. And come on back up. Opposite arm, of course. Turning the head. Pause for a moment. Breathe. And see how it might feel to move the chin a little bit more towards the shoulder. Release fingertips to shoulder and take some elbow circles. Opposite direction. And we'll come into the side tilt, elbow lifts. You're looking down towards the floor. Come on back up. And we will come to stand. So people on the floor, of course, just getting up in any way that's available to you. People in the chairs, we hinge forward, find our long spine. Inhale, keep that long spine, and exhale, arms up. Breathe, stretch, and release the arms down. I hope everyone has a strap available. It can be, of course, a yoga strap or a bathrobe belt, anything you have handy. And we're going to go a little bit wider than our standard mountain distance. So much wider than hips distance. And you're going to do the same thing with your strap. You're going to take your strap out in front of you, much wider than shoulder distance, and you're going to pull the strap outward. Pull the strap outward and release it down. On your inhalation, keep pulling the two sides of the strap apart and lift up. Breath is more important than the movement. Remember that. Exhaling, release down. We're remaining with that tautness on the strap as we breathe up and down. Inhaling, lift. And exhaling, release. We're going to bring that strap back behind us. I'll just show you what it looks like in case you've never done this. So you might need to go a little bit wider on the strap. You're going to lift your arms up and it's coming back behind you. And you'll find a place where you feel a lot of sensation. Let's all do it together. Sensation without strain. Give yourself a little more distance between your hands. And inhale, lift up. Keep pulling the strap apart. And bring that back behind you. Find a place where you feel a lot of sensation without discomfort. For me, it's right about here. Might be higher or lower for you. Oh, and I'm telling you, after lifting that heavy snow, this feels pretty nice. Breathe. Finding the opening after all that forward rounding. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release down. And we'll do one more thing. So you're coming in just a little bit closer, maybe about where you were originally on the belt. It's taut, and you're lifting up. And you're tilting over to one side, strap remains taut, arms are long. Inhale, lift. Exhale, second side. Inhale. Exhale. And back and forth at your breath's pace. And the next time you lift up, release the strap down. And you can put it aside. We may use it at least 1 or 2 more times, so have it within reach. We're going to turn around and face our chairs. For those of you who are using a chair, no need to use one if you don't want to. Then we'll come into little half sun salutes. So many of you have done this with me in the past. We're using some very familiar poses and connecting with breath. Hands at the heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit back in chair pose. Your hips are back. Your heart is forward and lifted. And lengthen into your forward fold. Long legs, long spine. We'll do it a few times. So some of you may choose to go a little bit deeper next time. Bending here again into chair pose and lifting. Exhale, releasing the arms and the breath. Let's do it again. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, sit back. Now here's the opportunity for those who would like to maybe go a little bit more deeply into the forward fold. Depends on you. Please be very careful. I'll just call it the back issues, osteoporosis, disc injuries. Don't go beyond a place where you can maintain that long spine. Pause for a moment wherever you are. And bend the knees. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. We'll add on. Hands at the heart. Inhale, lift. We're going to, make sure that we're going to come into a chair dog and a chair plank. So you want to make sure that your chair is very secure on your mat. So that's just a safety thing. Make that precaution, please. Hands at the heart center. Inhale, lift. Exhale, chair. Find your length. Bending knees. Now we're stepping back for chair dog. First chair dog of the day. Bending knees. Arms long, spine long. Please try to make sure that you're not breaking at the wrists. It's a long wrist and you're pressing hands down into the chair. Now please lengthen your legs, bring that whole shape forward into plank pose, chair plank. You can be down on your heels or you can be a little lifted. Breathe, one long line, heels to crown of head. Replace heels, hinge back again for your chair dog. And your knees could be bent as mine are or lengthened. Step one foot forward and then the other. Here's chair pose again, hands at heart. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. And one last time, one more add-on, hands at the heart center. Inhale. And exhale. Hands to the heart now. How would it feel to come into a little baby twist? You're lowering the back shoulder and lifting the forward shoulder. And come back to center. And twisting in the other direction. Come back to center. Here we go, chair dog. And breathe it forward, chair plank. Exhale here, dog. Whichever foot usually steps forward first, you know which one it is, different for all of us. Step the other one first. Come to meet it, chair pose, sit back, and let's pause for a few breaths in chair pose. Nudging the heart, lifting as the hips rest back. And inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands come down alongside the body. So we will come down right now to hands and knees. And I know not everyone is a hands and knees person, so that's one reason we did the chair dogs first. You could do your chair dogs here or at the back of the chair, or come on down to hands and knees. Standing up tall on your shins, finding your kneeling, or some of you are standing mountain. And just feel the stillness, the alignment of your mountain pose. Mind focused, breath flowing. Come on down to hands and knees, or you can put your hands on the chair if you're standing. And let's stretch our right leg out long behind. You can take a few forward and backward heel presses, stretching out those calf muscles. Come back to neutral, lift the entire length of the leg up off the floor and cross it over the opposite ankle. Place it down on the floor, turn your head to look back towards your heel. Probably feeling a pretty nice side stretch. Pause here. I'm going to just come to take a look and see if I can see anyone. Pause and breathe. And lift that foot back up off the earth. Bring it back to center and release the foot down to the earth. You know what comes next, other side, of course. So let's lift the opposite leg up off the floor. Oh, we didn't do we didn't do the calf stretches. Let's roll back and forth a few times. Maybe you already did that. And now coming to neutral, lifting the leg, crossing it over opposite ankle. It comes back to the floor. Turn your head to look back towards your heel. I've got my left foot doing the cross, so I'm getting a nice long stretch in my left side body. Lift the foot, come back to center, release the knee back down to the ground, and just come to pause for a moment. You want to get the weight off the wrists. You could take a child's pose if this works for your knees. Not everyone loves that position. You could certainly keep your hips lifted, stack your fists, release your forehead to the fists, or just come to sit, or kneel rather, in a neutral position. Whatever is a good rest for you. I'm going to take child's pose. Focusing wherever you are in your resting position on your breath. And walk your hands back. Come on back to your all fours position, table pose. We're going to work in and out of downward facing dog, but first we'll prepare with cat-cow. So in cat-cow, toes are tucked and you're arcing your spine, gazing forward, feeling the spread of the collarbones, the lift of the sits bones, and engaging abdominals. Come back to neutral. And arcing, finding neutral. Some of you, people who don't have those back issues can also move into a more rounded counter pose. I cannot see a lot of you or hardly anyone from this position. So in a sense, as I've mentioned, you're your own teacher. Do what's right in your own body. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Come on back to neutral spine, table pose, and we're going to come into downward facing dog. So please walk your hands a little bit forward. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Toes are tucked, and of course this could be done from standing. Inhale. Exhale, lift your hips, and press into your hands. Chest towards thighs. Keep your knees bent. Keep those knees bent initially. Long arms, bent knees. Come on back down, lend the knees softly and arc the spine, just like we did a moment ago for cow pose. Let's do it again. Inhale, exhale, lift hips, press chest towards thighs. If you'd like to lengthen your legs, go ahead and do that. And release softly, bring your knees down, arc your spine. And one last time, find your dog pose from the floor, or maybe you're doing dog pose from the chair. Everyone pause for a breath or two in your dog of choice. Breathe, come down at any time. This is a much longer hold. And everyone, please do come on down to hands and knees again. And we're going to come to stand. So a very nice way to come to stand for people who are down on the floor is find your lunge, one knee forward, tuck your back toes, bring that back foot forward. You're kind of in a modified chair pose here. And inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to the heart, a yogic way of getting up off the ground. We're going to move into some of our standing work. So you can have your chair on the right side or not. Turn your toes to face towards the chair or the short end of your mat and step back. So it's about a leg's length distance between your feet. If that's steady enough for you. And we're going to be working initially with warrior two. So bending into the forward knee, take a look down. You want knee more or less in line with ankle. And you want to make sure that I'll turn this way. You want to make sure that knee is not winging in or out. It's directly over second and third toes. And arms are in a T position. Lift just the back arm as you straighten the legs. And bend. Look out over your fingertips. And lift. And bend. And lift. One more time to bend. Turn the palms to face up. We're maintaining that bend in the knee. Palms down, palms up. And let's remain with palms up. It's a little different feeling in warrior two than having the palms down. Just experience that. And come all the way up. Release the arms down, pause, breathe. No need to change your feet just yet. We'll be doing something else on this side. And that will be side angle pose. So in side angle pose, we're coming into a long stretch. You can have your forearm on your thigh or the chair. Okay, let's do that together, and we'll do it with a flow. Arms out in a T position. Nice full inhalation. Exhaling, bend the knee. And for our flow, we're keeping the knee bent. So it's a lot of work for the legs, but we're really energizing those muscles. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, flow into side angle. Keep the knee bent. Warrior two, side angle, and pause. If any of you have bricks or a stack of books and you want to come a little bit closer to the floor, you could do that. If you want a little bit more support, forearm on back of chair. Take a nice full inhalation, lengthen the legs, sweep the arm back down, and turn all 10 toes forward. Before we come to the other side, let's heel toe, or just step one foot and the other back to mountain. Not everyone has done standing mountain yet. I think some of you are down on the floor, so let's take our standing mountain. I know most people in this class don't have blocks available. In one of my other classes where we did have blocks, this week we worked with the idea of balancing that block on our heads. So even though you don't have the blocks, many of you, you can imagine you have a block on your head. You're that tall. You're stretching your block towards the sky. And let's come to the other side for our warrior sequence. Bring now your opposite foot forward. The other foot steps back, toes turn in just a little bit. Starting with warrior two, arms in a T position. And bend the knee. Lift the back arm up. Exhale, you can turn to gaze over the fingertips of the left hand and lift. And exhale. Inhale here. Exhale, let's hold warrior two and flip the palms up. Turn them back down. Flip the palms up and hold. Here would be a good place to focus on relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. How's that knee doing? Is it winging in or out? Directly forward. And all the way up. Release your arms. Keep the legs exactly where they are. No need to change anything or shift. Breathe. And we'll come into our side angle variation, lifting the arms back into warrior two. And here's side angle. Forearm to chair or to thigh. Keep the knee bent. Inhale. Come on back up. Warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Ooh, feel that length in the right side body. Come on back to warrior two. And here's our hold. Knee is still bent, unless you feel like you need a break. Of course, do what you need to do for you. Nice long side angle. Breathe. Come on back up to warrior two. And now straighten the leg, release the arms, turn all 10 toes forward. Let's take a wide-legged mountain pose. And heel toe, back to mountain. We are going to take our standing balance of the day, and that will just be a little variation on what we did when we were seated. It's going to be lifting the arm, turning the head, lifting the arm, turning the head, and we'll add on. So let's do this and break it down, starting with feet flat on the floor, heels are grounded, mountain pose. Inhale, lift the left arm, turn the head opposite. And exhale. Second side, arm lifts, head turns. And let's do that again, one more time each side. As you come back to center, either holding the chair or arms alongside, just lift your heels, a little tiptoe action, and release. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, release. Inhaling now. And exhaling. And let's put these two pieces together. We're going to, feel free to hold. Lift one arm, tiptoe, turn head. Exhale, release. Lift heels, lift arm, turn head. Exhale. Back and forth, and you choose. You can, of course, hold on for more stability. Or keep your heels grounded. Everyone is in a very different place with balance, I know. Anytime we turn our head and our eyes are shifting, it introduces an element of challenge. And we're pausing with our head turned, heels lifted, if that's working for you. And release, come on back down. Brief hold on the second side. Inhaling, lift. Turn head if that's working for you. Pause. Can those heels lift a little bit more off the ground? And release, bring it down. Ooh, let's stretch out those calves. Turn to the back of the chair. We'll just come into a nice, easy runner's lunge, as it's commonly known, bringing either foot forward, other foot steps back, and it's not a warrior foot in the back, meaning it's not flat on the floor. The heel is a little bit lifted. And with that heel a little lifted, now you can press it down more towards the floor, lift it back up, press it down towards the floor, stretching out the calf muscles. One more time. If you still want to work on balance, if you haven't had enough, you can lift your arms and lower them. Press heel down, lift arms or arm and lower. And let's just switch sides. And initially with the hands on the chair, lifting and lowering. Stretching out the calf muscle. How about lifting an arm or both arms? And last time, pressing the heel down. Bring the back foot forward, whichever foot that is. And stand yourself all the way up in mountain pose. Pause. Take a look at the time. We're going to come on down to our bellies. For people who do that, we'll start with Sphinx. And I think everyone has probably seen the wall variations. If you don't want to come down to your belly, so that would be elbows in front of shoulders, hips towards wall. This is Sphinx pose at the wall. We'll do that on the floor in a moment. I'll come down. The next part of this would be Cobra, hands in front of shoulders. And we're going to bring the hips towards the wall. As we come back, we'll turn the head. Hips towards the wall, come back, turn the head. So for those of you who are coming down to the floor, let's do this all together. And find your Sphinx pose. So in Sphinx pose, elbows directly under shoulders, fingertips straight ahead, tops of the feet flat on the floor, and we're not collapsing. We're lifting, finding length in the front body. Long stretch from your pubic bone to the top of your sternum. Little lift of the chin. This doesn't feel great on your low back. You can try going a little bit wider with your feet. That sometimes helps, or just come on out of the pose. And everyone, please release. Come on down to your forearms. Rest your forehead on your forearm. And breathe. Feel that fullness in your back body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, release, sink a little bit more towards the support of your floor or your chair. So standers, you could be here. Inhaling, feel the fullness in the back body, especially. There's an expansion. Exhaling, sink a little bit more deeply towards the earth. And a few more times on your own. Really taking the time here to focus on your breath. And please lift your forehead up off its support. Bring your hands now directly under your shoulders for our little cobra variation, or hands at the wall in front of the shoulders. If you're on the ground, your elbows are lifted. That's how it's different than Sphinx. It's not here. Elbows are lifted and in close to the sides of the body. Inhale, little lift from the chest to the shoulders, to the neck and the head. And exhale, replace right cheek to the ground. You're turning your head. Inhale, come back to center, lift, little cobra. Exhaling, opposite cheek returns to the earth. So we're lifting to center and turning the head to release. Do it a few more times, side to side. Of course, with your breath, inhaling to center and exhaling, find the earth. And the next time you bring your cheek to the earth, put your opposite forearm on top, rest your forehead, and breathe. A few more cycles of breath here. After you've taken about 3 full unrushed unhurried, cycles of breath. Just take a look. Some of you will be coming down onto the floor. Some of you will be staying in chairs. And the sequence will be something like this. Have your strap available. There's mine. Have your strap available nearby. You can even put it, I like putting mine around my shoulders. That way I can just take hold of it. So what this will look like, for people on the floor, take a look before you come down. We'll lift one knee in towards the chest, thigh comes to the chest. Hand on kneecap, we'll go out to the side, back to center, out to the side, back to center. We'll do that a few times, just warming up the hip joint, and we'll take the strap, loop it around, extend the leg long, and we'll go in and out a few times. I'll talk you through that. Then the strap will be in one hand, out to the side. Much slower than this, of course, and the other hand out to the side. If you're on the floor, you might want to take this into a full twist. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, don't do it. Many of you I know have already done this. So it's either this little cross of the leg, or if you know the full twist, you'll take the full twist. Okay, make your way down onto the earth if that's where you're going. Set yourself up, both knees bent. And in this one, I know my reason for not coming down to the floor often is vertigo. I know some of you also suffer from that. Feel free to put something under your head if you would like to. And tilting back in the chair if you're in the chair. Otherwise, everything is the same. Let's lift. Well, first, we're all bending our knees, soles of both feet on the ground. And then lifting the right foot up off the floor, knee is bent. You can interlace behind the thigh and draw thigh in closer to the chest. And let it release a little bit. Thigh in as you exhale. Let it release a little bit. Now, right hand on right knee. Bring that knee out to the side. Bring it back in. Opposite arm could be in a T position. Knee out to the side as you inhale. Back in to exhale. Oh, and I didn't demo this, but how would it feel to take some knee circles while we're here? One direction and then the other. And now, taking your strap, looping it around your ball mounds, and your knee is bent. People on the floor, your opposite leg could be lengthened here if you like that feeling, or keep it bent. Exhale, everyone, thigh into chest. And inhale, lengthen. Exhaling, thigh into chest. Inhale, lengthen. Any height. It could be a big old lift. It could be a little bit lower. Depends on your body, your hamstrings, how you're feeling today. And one more time. Exhaling, thigh in. Inhaling, find that nice length and pause. Pressing out through the heel. Take both sides of the strap in your right hand and let that leg come out to the side. Opposite arm can be in a T position or not. Soft face, even breath. Bring the leg back to center. Take both sides of the strap in the opposite hand, and you can either take that little cross over the midline Folks on the floor, if you want to come into the full twist, go ahead and do that if you know it. And come on back to upright, back to center. Bend the knee. Take the strap off the foot. Bring the foot back down to the earth. Come back to find neutral, both feet planted, both knees bent. And take a moment. Even yourself out. You might have to make some little adjustments in your hips. We'll do the other side. Tilting back in the chair if you're in the chair, and starting without the strap. Just lifting the opposite foot, interlacing behind, drawing in, and just a little movement away. Not coming into that full lengthening yet. Thigh in, and a little bit away. Exhaling, draw in. Inhaling. And let's place one hand on the knee out to the side, back to center. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling. Returning to center, let's take the knee circles that I added on. One direction and then the other. And coming to stillness now. Here's the belt, taking your belt around the ball mounds. Exhale, bend elbows, thigh towards chest. Inhaling, lengthen. Exhaling, thigh towards chest, bend knee. Inhaling, lengthen. Don't expect the two sides of your body to behave in the same way. They will fool you. Often we have one side with restrictions or more length. Honor that, please. And take a nice long stretch, your height. Take both sides of the strap now in your left hand. Let that leg come out to the left. Opposite arm can be in a T. Inhale, bring the leg back to center, and here is the opposite direction. Other hand takes hold of both sides of the strap. Leg comes a little bit across, or some of you on the floor taking the full twist. Breathe. And come on back to center. Bend the knee one last time. Take the strap off. You can put it aside now. Bring the foot back down to the floor. And let's actually move right into relaxation, because I did want to do some breath work today. And I want to honor the time that this class has been set for. So come into your pose for relaxation. If you're on the floor, stretching out long on your back, letting your legs naturally roll outward. And they're not too close together. You've got lots of space here. It's not like when we were live at Edgemont and we were so close to each other. So legs rolling out, arms a comfortable distance from your hips. If you're in the chair and you choose to remain there, just rest your hands in your lap. Do accept the support of the chair here if you're in the chair. close your eyes. Place one hand, please. We did this last week. One hand on the side ribs. I think some of you may not have been here, so take a look at my position if you're not sure. One hand on the side ribs, the other hand back on your low belly, and breathe. Notice how the breath is moving in your body. You might feel a little bit of movement under the hands. Maybe you're not feeling much of anything there. Doesn't matter. Now we're beginning to guide the movement. And we're focusing especially on that hand that's on the side ribs. Inhaling, can you expand your side ribs into that hand? Exhaling, ribs gently move back towards the midline. Inhaling, ribs out, pressing into the hand. And exhaling, back into the midline. Just for the moment, focusing on the ribs, moving outward and inward. Inhaling, ribs outward. Exhaling, back to midline. Take a few more of those breaths, really focusing on the ribs. It's just about where the diaphragm is in your body, so you're strengthening respiration, all those muscles, internal and external, that support healthy breathing. And just begin now to notice what's going on under the hand on your belly. You're still guiding the ribs, but maybe you begin to notice that your belly is rounding as the ribs move outward. A lot to think about and feel. If it ever starts to feel too complicated or don't want our breathing to be stressful, don't worry about it. You can put your hands back down and just breathe. For those of you who still have your hands placed, just take 3 more of these breaths. And now releasing your hands to wherever they're comfortable. That could be both hands on your belly or arms alongside the body, or sitters, hands in lap. Allow your body to be completely relaxed. Your breath at a natural rhythm. Your mind resting quietly on your breath. Allow your breathing now to begin to grow deeper. Bring a little movement into your wrists and your fingers, your toes, your ankles. Rolling over to the side if you're on the floor. Rest there a moment. Everyone coming up to an upright position, and we're away from any support. So again, it's that sitting is okay, but every once in a while we want to get away from the support and engage our muscles. So everyone engaging the muscles, sitting upright. Bring hands together at heart center, press palms, slide thumbs a little up. And let's close with one Om together, breathing in. One more full breath in to lift, fill, and expand with the energy and peace of yoga. Exhaling, namaste. Thank you all for joining me. Be well. Feel free to unmute if you have any questions or comments or requests. Otherwise,
Thank you very much.
I'll see you next week. You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Was there a day that we were skipping? What day were we skipping?
Monday, like this Monday.
No, but I
Yeah,
thought
that's a different class, Vanji. That's just for my Monday people.
Thank you, Jean.
No, you should